Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to make a landscape in Houdini and export it to Unity. And I'm going to make sure it's with splat maps and show you the gotchas with splat maps and such. And make sure we have the right text, not texture, but scale and rotation and stuff. So what you see here on the screen, this is what we're going to do. And yeah, it's a landscape, so it's a terrain with a height field. And also, we're going to make sure we have FBX file. So this is mesh. So we know we can compare. We have the correct things. We know we get what we expect. So, and we're going to make it in Houdini. And this is what we're going to do. So let's get started. And what I'm going to show you, if you want to do the same, here you see this skybox for my scene. It's actually a free asset on Unity Asset Store. It's a Nebula skyboxes. So I got this one and it's pretty nice. So Nebula skyboxes if you wanted to. But we're going to start from an empty scene. So let's get started. So I have an empty scene prepared here. And when you start, you're going to have it like this. And if you want to change this skybox, you download the Nebula thing that I showed you, and then you just here in the Windows, rendering, lighting, and then you just go to environment and skybox material. You change that, and you have to create your material as a skybox as well. So I'm gonna do the Nebula. I like it, have it as a start. And yeah, and I also have this rock diffuse and the sand diffuse. So if you want, you can make these two or use something else. And in Houdini, we just first gonna save the folder. So I'm gonna save my Houdini file, so I have it next to this one. So first I just go save as, and it's in the right location, accept. And now I have it here. So, and this one I'm gonna put here. I don't need it now. Let's get started with Houdini. So first off, we're gonna make a geometry node. And we're going to start with a height field. So I'm going to do this 1000 by 1000 meters. And that's the default, so that's good. And also Unity wants us to use corner. At least that's what it says in the documents in Houdini Unity terrain. And I'm going to have grid space. I'm going to do it to 1. And leave it as it is. And then I'm going to do a height field. So here you can use different noises. And well, this is a wrong. We're going to have height field noise. This is the one we're going to have. Nice. So I'm actually going to change this to maximum, because I want these flat areas. And I also like this whirly cellular. This is a really nice noise. And you see it doesn't have so much noise sticking out. If we did the center noise, you see it how it looks. And if we do center, then you see it kind of give off the cliffs types. So you can also in this post process do this bias, and bias is you kind of offset the noise. If we add it up like this, you can have more. So you can play around with this, but I'm actually gonna do the same settings that I had for the previous thing. And here I did 1000, 1000, and 920. So you can do the same noises you want. And here I change, actually I'm just gonna make a new cliff. Have something new this time. So let's start with this one. Let's say we're happy with this one. We can change it later on. Now we want to mask it, so we only have it in the center. And that's what this node is about, this input here. And what we can do, if you make a sphere, because we can mask with a mesh, and it's tiny, it's down here, it's tiny, tiny, tiny. So if we do it 500, you see it's bigger. Then you see here, and that's a good size. So what you can do, if you use this height field mask by geometry, and do it like this, now we have made a mask. So if we plug it in here, now we see we have the mask for the noise. And also we can do this height field mask blur, height field noise. Let's see, where is it? Height field blur, mask blur. This is the one. You see height field mask blur, and we put it here. And if we just blur it up a bit, now you see we have it a little bit more like this. And I'm going to do sphere a little bit bigger. Yeah, this is going to be okay. And also I'm going to do this in the noise. I'm going to do the bias and put it up a little bit more. Yeah, this is cool. I'm going to keep this and see what can I do here. Add some roughness to it. So yeah, I'm going to leave it to that. So what I want to do, this is the first noise, and I'm actually going to add an height field noise again. And this time I'm going to add the same one like this. And I'm gonna try this out and see how it turns out. So then I'll do a height field road. I'm gonna do it like this. And I'm gonna use the default settings. And then I'm gonna do 2 frame 10 and see what happens. So, of course, you can tweak a lot with this one and try different erosion amount. If we do a little bit higher, we get even more, of course. And so I'm actually going to keep it on 15. So I'm going to take this one and freeze it so we get 15. So now if I do like this, we always get the frame 15. So that's nice. And actually I'm gonna, here we do get some different layers and we're gonna do them ourselves. So I'm gonna make sure we only have a few of them. So I'm gonna, because we're gonna make them ourselves, I'm only gonna save the height. So, and also we're going to save the mask. So we're going to delete non-selected. So this is what I'm going to save. And I'm also going to save debris and water. We're actually not going to use it, but I'm going to explain why we save it later, because when we export the Splat map, it doesn't work if you leave a red or green channel empty. You need to populate it with some layer. So that's why I'm saving it just to use later, but I'm going to explain it later. So that's going to be covered. And here I'm going to do a blur, height field blur, because I just want to do this a tiny bit blurred. You see it's a little bit jagged like this. So if I do height field blur and we only do like one, see it's a little bit smoother. We might change that later, but that's good enough for now. And then actually I'm going to do a Wrangler attribute. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to save on the detail, this one here. I'm going to save an attribute along like these ones, because I want to know the height here. You can middle mouse click here and get the height here, but I want to be able to click here and copy it. So the way to do is if you make f as a float and at, that's like creating a variable. We do size I. Then you do is equal to get bbox size, and when you do 0, it's you say telling I want to measure the size in the 0 input, and then you do and it's the vector, so we're going to catch the I direction. Now you see down here size I is 254, so that's cool. So we're going to use it later. So this is going to be save size I attribute. So this is cool. So now when we have this, I'm going to make this to an FBX, so we can have something to have as a reference. So now this is a mesh and we don't need it that dense. We're just going to have it as a ref. So this will be good enough. And then we're going to do a transform. So to compensate between Houdini and Unity, we do it 100 times. And then we just do an ROP FBX. So this is going to be our ref mesh reference. Yeah, that's good enough. And save it. So now we made this, and what's really nice here is that now we have the mesh files. So whenever we import our height field, we have this mesh to compare with. So we know that we have the correct rotation and height and everything. So the last thing, I'm just gonna export the height field. So height field output. So this is going to be our where we output our height field. So here I'm going to do a different change some stuff here. So for instance, this height field only going to be single channel like this. So we only have the red here. And here we're going to do height. So this is perfect. And the file name, we're going to save it in the hip. So it's next to the hip file. And this is going to be the height field. And let's see. Yeah, I'm going to save it like that. So it's going to be height field PNG. And we're going to have it as 6-bit fixed, and the output range is 0 to 1. But we know that this file is, the height is 254. So what you can do, either you just do auto remap, and now you have the height correctly. Or what you can do, if you do it like manual, you can just copy this size that we made, like this. So now it's correctly made. Or even better, you can just do it dynamically. So you do detail and you read the first input. So it's this input here. Then you do read size I, because we saved this attribute on the input. Then you read the first index in that attribute, and it's only one attribute, so it's the first one. So if you press enter, now you see it's kind of put here automatically. So I kind of like to have it like this, because then it's easy to know what's going on, because you don't really see it if you do auto mapping. Now you see the values and it updates all the time. So now I copy it, and if I do save to disk, and we go into Houdini. So I have the terrain toolbox open, and if you don't know where to find it, you need to, here in package manager, you need to find it and install it. So it's called terrain toolbox there, and then you just find it in window, terrain toolbox. So in here, you want to create the terrain, and I did 1000, 1000. And also here we got the height. I'm going to copy it. That's what you put here. So you get the right height. And then you do, and here height map resolution. So here, let's see, here I did resolution 256, and I'm going to change it to 248 by 248. I'm going to save it again. And so this is what you're going to put for 248. And here you want to import your height field. You might think you can take your PNG height field, but this one you need to use a raw file. And in order to have a raw file, unfortunately, you can't export a raw file here because it's not able to do that. So I'm going to do a PNG file. And when you save it, then when you open it in Photoshop, I'm just going to file save as. And then I'm going to save it here as a raw. Oh, sorry. Okay. File, save as. You can't use that one. You need to say save as a copy. The reason is because otherwise you can't find the raw file here. So save as a copy. And then I'm just going to do _raw. And save it. And PC, because I'm on a PC. So now we have it here. And this is what the height map wants. So use raw file, yes. And select raw file. Here you put it. So actually, you see this button here. You need to expose it a little bit more like this so you can click it. Then you just navigate to where you saved it, and this is where I saved it. And we hit create. And here we have it. So if we take this one and move it, now you see it's actually not matching. And the reason is because we need to, in the Houdini, here we need to flip it. And if you do flip horizontally and flop 90 degrees, and if we save it to disk, and then in Unity, we just go into the height field again and update it. And then we just do this thing, save as a copy again, and a raw, save it, and a PC. And now if we have replaced terrain here, it's going to replace the terrain group 0. So if you do untick it, you will just make a copy, but we're just going to update it. So if we do create, and let's see now you see, now it is perfect. So now when we have it imported like this, you can see the reference. So it looks like it matched really good, but there is some difference here. And you see, I made a mistake. This noise here, we don't see it over here. And that's because I thought I was a little bit smart. And here, when we do this thing, you see it's actually go down here. So when I do this get size I, of course I do get the correct height, but we should actually start reading maybe from -10 up to 247 something, because we need to map it from down here up to here. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use auto remap, because it's going to sort out the problem. Because now we kind of clipped this way before, but now we're going to have it included. So sorry for that one, but I'm still going to save this one. So I'm going to save to disk. And what's important here is this is still valid. We do need this part here. So now when I save this one, I go back here, and then I'm going to open up the height field. And now you see it's going to be a little bit gray, because I'm actually going to start a little bit higher up here and then go down. So I'm going to do this instead of saving manually all the time. I'm going to do this. If you've never done this, I'm going to show you. So you can do this here, save raw file. And then you have this record or stop. So if I record here, I'm going to do file, save a copy. I'm going to do it raw file. And this one, I'm going to do save, replace, and do PC and OK. And now I'm going to click stop here. So next time I update my height field, I'll just press play here. And then it do all the process for me. So now this is updated and it's linked in here. And then I'll just do create. Now you see it's here. And it's actually a little bit higher than the last, our reference file. So if we just put it up like this, you see, now it's correct. So now we know it's correct. So cool. Now that thing is sorted. So see you in the next tutorial. Thank you so much.